Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be creating this look, playing around with tones that I don't often play around with. I really wanted to do a really sparkly, silvery, shimmery, glittery, cool toned eye, and I wanted to pair it with warm tones on the rest of the face. So this is what I ended up coming up with. So if you'd like to see how I put this whole look together and everything I used, just keep on watching. I feel like my face needs a little bit of warming up before I get into the eyes, so I'm just going into the bronzer part of this Patrick Ta duo, and she's Statuesque. You can see I have my base done already, and I did do a little bit of the cream contour in this palette, and I also used a little bit of the lighter contour shade in the Charlotte Tilbury Nudegasm palette, but then I went over and kind of buffed everything with powder, so I just want to reintroduce that little bit of warmth and shaping into the face. Then I want a little bit of cream blush, so I'm going with my Victoria Beckham blush in the shade Playground. Freddie's here again today. He has recently become very involved in my videos for some reason. I'm going in with my Sonia G Classic Base to blend that blush out. I think that's good for the blush for now. I can always come back after I've done the eyes and kind of re-examine everything. I want to take this bronzer shade again. I'm just taking it on my classic crease brush, and I just want to put a tiny little bit into my crease. I had already put a tiny bit of the, again, that lighter contour from the Charlotte Tilbury Nudegasm there, but I just want to add just a little bit more shadow there, right through the whole crease, including into this sort of inner part there. Now I'm going to start out with these two Victoria Beckham Satin Kajal liners. I have Ash and Sea Gray here, and these are going to form the base of the eye look, and then I'm going to put the sparkly silvery shade on top. So starting out with Ash in the outer part of the lid, just kind of haphazardly placing it in the outer V like that. And maybe like halfway along the lash line as well. And then taking Sea Gray and filling out the rest of the lash line, and just, again, just kind of haphazardly drawing it along the rest of the lid there. I'm going to take my Sonia G worker brush from the Lotus set. It's undyed goat hair, so it should be all right with these kind of creamy textures. And just starting on the outside there, just blending first the darker color a little bit, and then blending the lighter color. So you definitely wouldn't want to let these liners sit around on the lid for too long before blending them, because they do set down. But I think Freddie just went into I left a cupboard open and he jumped into it. Hi, Evie. They do set down, but I had plenty of play time to apply both of them and just blend them out. Not too quickly. I think what I'll do is just take that brush, nothing additional on it, and just kind of pinch it so I can apply that extra color as a really light little bit of shadow underneath the eye. Actually, I'm gonna take a little bit more of the sea gray shade and place it under the eye. I've mentioned in a video before with this that it was a little bit darker than I was expecting, but that's not a bad thing. It just means I have to go a little bit more light-handed with it, especially on the lower lash line here. Taking my Wayne Goss 07 brush from his Edit series, just blending that out. Now I'm feeling I'm probably gonna want a little bit more depth on the outer part of the eye here, especially because I am gonna probably be covering it over a little bit with the glittery shade. So I'm just taking a little bit more of the ash liner, dotting it along there. And then I'll just blend that. Okay, now I am ready to go in with Mirror all over the lid. So you've seen me use this in a recent video where I demoed and reviewed this shade and the new Chiffon shade as well. And I've really been wanting to do kind of a full-on silvery glittery eye with this since I got it. I mentioned in that video that I prefer to do most of the application of these lid lusters with my finger, so that's what I'm doing here. Just getting a decent amount on my finger and then patting it in. You can kind of blend with your finger too once you've got it patted on there. But you can of course always go with a brush as well to blend out the edges. You can apply them with a brush too, but they give much more impact if you go in with your finger. I'm just going to take that same brush I used to blend out the liner and just blend around the edges, and especially here where I want a little bit more of that kind of smoky depth to show through. Using a brush to apply these straight from the pot also usually gives me fallout, and I haven't gotten any fallout here with applying it with my finger and then just blending out the edges with the brush. So that's another reason that I prefer the finger method. Now, having said that, I do want to get a little bit of the color into my inner corner here. So I am going to take that 07 Wayne Goss brush into the pot and just get a little bit of the product on there. Very lightly kind of tap and blend that into the inner corner. I think I want to pull it along the lower lash line too. Just kind of curious to see how that will look. I like that. It gives kind of a stardust effect. So you could certainly leave the eyes here and just add a little bit of liner and mascara. That's what they would look like. Imagine the liner and mascara there. But I'm tempted to just take it a little step further. So I've grabbed my Huda Rose Quartz palette, and I'm actually going to be using this kind of jelly shade and probably this one in here, or maybe this one. One of those really flaky metallics, just to amp everything up and kind of add a little bit of excitement to the look. So I'm gonna take this brush here. This is my Sonia G Flat Definer. I'm gonna go right into the pan of that jelly cream shade there. Kind of load it onto the brush. And then I'm gonna take it along this part of the eye here. So kind of the inner crease area. And I'm just kind of, again, doing a little bit of a patting and blending. I'm gonna kind of end it right there around the midpoint of the crease. And do the same thing to the other eye. Already it's added kind of an interesting, subtle iridescent blue effect, but I'm going to cover it over with, I think I'm gonna try this shade here. This one seems to be a little bit more straight up silver. That shade is called Blissful. Just going with the same brush. Placing it right over where I had applied that other creamy shadow. There we go. So it's subtle at certain angles. You can't really tell that I've done anything, but then at other angles you can see that little additional effect. So now I'm ready for liner and mascara. So I'm just going to continue on using Ash and do my upper waterline and along the lash line, and I'll do my mascara, and then I'll be back to finish up the rest of the look. Okay, actually, I decided to go in with a bit of that Moon Magic shade on the same brush and just pull it over top of where I already put the other shade. And because it's a lighter shade, it's giving a more bright impact and really showing off the shine. Now I'm ready to do my liner and mascara, and I'll be right back. Okay, now that the eyes are finished, I want to go back in with my blush and just put a little bit more on. And I'm going to be adding some highlighter too, because I'm really going to go for all the sparkle and shine in this look. Cool tones aren't my go-to, especially like really kind of almost stark cool tones like silvers and grays. So I find it can be really nice. I really like the look of pairing that kind of eye with more warm tones on the rest of the face. I think that that effect can just work really nicely and kind of balance things out, especially if you're not a real cool toned person. So I'm just taking my highlighter from the Natasha Denona Glam face palette, the light version, and just buffing that into the skin. And since I have that on my cheeks, I'm going to pull it along the brow bone as well. And I want still more blush, so going in from the stick this time onto the brush. Okay, now I'm ready for a lip. So again, I'm gonna try a warmer toned option. This is the shade Spice from Victoria Beckham, and this will be actually my first time wearing this. I bought it in her Black Friday sales, and it's a shade that I've been drawn to in the past, but afraid to try because it's not a really natural type of lip color for me. But I thought it would be fun to try it with this look, so I'm gonna go in now with Spice. So there's Spice on its own on my lips. It's a little bit deadening, so I'm gonna go in with my Victoria Beckham 02 lip definer and do a little bit of shaping around the edges of the lips. I'm gonna take a little bit along the center of the bottom lip there. And the top. There we go. So definitely a bit of an experimental look today, both with the eyes and the lips. These are not tones that I normally go for, but they're ones that I really wanted to play around with and see how they would work together. So here is the completed look. And that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you have any questions or comments below. And if you'd like to see more from me and you haven't subscribed to my channel already, I'd really love for you to do so. Thanks again so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.